All right, it is unique devotion time again. Uh, every single day except for when I forget, or we do reflection days. So, and just being silly. Today, let's get to the most important part. Focus. I'm in Colossians chapter 1. Going to read verses 9 through 14. Now, this section is entitled The Preeminence of Christ. But I'm only going to read the first part of it, so like the first half of this section, just because something kind of stood out and it was a good stopping point. So this is verses 9 through 14 again. And then the God question. I always have one of those. All right, if you're listening, here I go. For this reason, we also, since the day we heard it, do not cease to pray for you and to ask that you may be filled with the knowledge of His will in all wisdom and spiritual understanding, that you may walk worthy of the Lord, fully pleasing Him, being fruitful in every good work and increasing in the knowledge of God, strengthened with all might according to His glorious power, for all patience and long-suffering with joy, giving thanks to the Father who has qualified us to be partakers of the inheritance of the saints in the light. He has delivered us from the power of darkness and conveyed us into the kingdoms of the Son of His love, in whom we have redemption through His blood, for forgiveness of sins. So the question kind of comes, I wanted to finish that section, but the question really came right at the very beginning of this, when he says, do not cease to pray for you. For this reason, we also, since the day we heard it, do not cease to pray for you. He's saying he continually prays. And to say do not cease, that means never stopping. Now, how's that possible? Back to the question, do you all day pray? It isn't necessarily that they sat down in a little nice position, in a very specific position, that there's no other position, folded their hands in a very specific way, and just prayed for this one thing over and over again, out loud, never eating, never sleeping, never going to the bathroom, never speaking to anyone else, never interacting with anyone else, just continually praying. That's what that sort of sounds like if you just read the words. But let's get a little deeper with that. All right? Recognizing that God exists and communicating with Him is not necessarily a sit-down quiet time. It's an all-day thing. It's even when you're driving, even when you're working and you're doing your work, even when you're talking to others. To some extent, in your mind, with your heart, with your soul, you're still slightly, you're like a string of faith. You're always connected in some way. Now, to me, when I sit down and I take a little quiet time of prayer, it enables me to not think about anything else, to put my work aside, to put the crazy driving aside, to put thinking of others aside at first, and actually bring myself to just quiet and recognize that God is with me. And then I can pray for others. I can pray for myself. I can pray for things that I may need, or to pray for peace in the world, simple things, but always having that connection. So what they're saying here is not that they were praying out loud in that special pose all day long, but that it's just a little little string of faith, a little string of connection going up to God that is consistently felt from their heart, from their soul, and from their mind, just constantly always there. You may even equate it to slightly a subconscious thought that it's, if they would be driving in a car, the disciples would have been very conscious of what is happening. pressing the gas, watching traffic, looking for lights, very present in the moment. But there's always things running in the subconscious mind. And they kind of use both of those as a tool. Let their prayers unceasingly roam through the subconscious mind, always going. And then when they have the quiet time, they're able to bring it out and pray for it out loud. But then when they go on about their normal day, it goes back into the subconscious mind. Not being forgotten, always running, but not sitting down in a perfect pose, perfect position, perfect handheld position, praying constantly all the time. So take that thinking and put it onto your own mind. Do you have these little tiny strings of thought processes for others going on in your mind? And let me just repeat the question. It's a little bit deep, and I want to be careful that I'm not sounding, mystical or magical or something like that. Do you all day pray? It's more of a, like I said, it's more of a mindset and connection with God than it is an actual physical prayer situation. All right, so I'll just leave that there. You contemplate that today. If you have any questions, you can always leave it in the comments below. Some of my videos, I post my email, so if you're looking through some of my videos, you find my email, you can always email me a question or a comment. Maybe you think a little bit differently about this. Maybe you have a different viewpoint or a different way of looking at this. I love perspective. Hook me up. So on that note, I hope God gives you all the blessings you deserve, and even more so, all the blessings you don't deserve. Have a wonderful day, and I will continue to pray for you unceasingly.